All right, guys, so just a quick here, a start. Let's just take child pose for a few moments, just to kind of ground and center, right? After a long day, just taking a few breaths here, forehead on the mat, arms forward. And if you want to start the active approach already, you can see I don't press my elbows down. I actually press through my palms and lift my elbows, so it's like an active child pose. Okay? I even kind of squeeze my hands toward my feet towards my hands. You feel that activation. For a little bit more, you can come up on your fingertips. Really breathing into the underarms here. Okay? If not, no worries. Relaxing variation is fine. Nice big inhale on your nose. Big exhale. Big inhale on your nose. Big exhale. 3 to 4 more breaths here to start practice. So as we go through, remember, with the active approach to flexibility, you might need to take a little bit more break. You might need to modify. That's fine, okay? But I do want to make sure we're well-rounded in our approach to making our body more mobile and increasing range of motion, reducing tightness. And a lot of the modern kind of exercise science is leaning towards that more active approach. There is definitely a lot of room for passive stretching, but we don't want that to be the only method we're doing, okay? So if you're just joining, we're in child pose, taking one last breath here, just kind of grounding and centering for a moment, right? Anytime you need a little break in class, this is such a fantastic place to find and just kind of give yourself a moment, right? So, before we start stretching, it is always good to get some movement in. So let's rise up to our tabletop. And remember, there's no better movement for the spine here to start as that cat-cow. Good fundamentals, big inhale, arch the back, lift the chin. Big exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin. Inhale. Nice big exhale, round. Take a few more, guys. And everyone in here is a regular. You guys know your body, your practice. It's okay to switch it up as much as you need. All right? But I'll tell you, cat-cow is hard to replace. It's really that movement where we get that big anterior tilt. So if you had a tail, right? You have a tailbone, your tail would go way up. And then if you posterior tilt, you kind of tuck your tail between your legs. All right? Inhale, exhale. And you want to move your neck here, guys, as well. And then you could just start to draw some circles. And it's such a fantastic flexibility movement anyway, right? So I'm just kind of getting into it here. Like I say often, is that free movement. So just moving in ways that feel good, okay? So don't think strain yet. Don't think deep stretch yet. More kind of blood flow increasing, okay? Now go slow. Right leg will rise. Roll out your ankle. We're only going to do this 20, 30 seconds each side. Now bend the knee and kind of circle the hip. Notice how I turn the knee out, okay? And then I turn it in, kind of turn it out. Just want to get a lot of movement through that biggest joint in the body, hip joint. What's nice about that is it is active, so there is some strengthening while we're kind of working into a more extreme range than you normally do. All right, take your time, guys. We're going to bring that knee down. We're going to lift that second leg up. Maybe just start with the ankle. It's kind of one of my classic flexibility warm-ups here. So you're just circling your ankle, all right? Both directions, pointing, flexing the foot, even wiggling the toes is a good suggestion there. And then from there, you take it more to the knee bend and you kind of pull the knee in and you draw some nice slow circles. Try to slow down and feel the joint, feel anything that's tight or kind of achy, or maybe it's feeling good. Make sure you go both directions. So you circle the opposite direction, please. Now we got about, maybe 2 to 3 more warm-ups here. All right, and I'm just gonna kind of move through our warm-up. So hands come closer together. Inhale, right arm goes out and up, classic. Exhale, right hand down. Okay, big inhale, left arm out and up. Take your time, guys. You know this one. Exhale it down. You take a few more, maybe even letting the neck kind of look up as your arm goes up to the right. Your head can follow here. If it's too much, you know, you can sit back on your heels and do it. It's a little bit softer. If it's easy, I like to have like a little pulse even, but you know, just be careful, we're in warm-up mode. Okay, now take your time, right? No exact number there. You're kind of feeling out your mat. How's that body doing tonight? That's what we're doing, all right? Big inhale, we'll bring it back on the heels here. Throw those hands behind you, intertwine those fingers. Now this is an active stretch, right? Where we're rolling those shoulders back. So you can see my hands are bind. I am sitting on the ankles again, just like child pose, but a little bit heavier now. I'm rolling the shoulders back. Nice big breaths into the upper chest. Big exhale here, yogis. Couple more breaths. Notice I'm tucking my chin a little bit, stretching my neck. I'm even going to lift the chin a little bit. Even open the mouth, kind of spread the jaw, mouth. I want you to be intuitive and creative, okay? Not just, don't be too rigid, okay? We're gonna get out of there, downward dog. Couple breaths, again, this is an active stretch, okay? Where I tuck the toes, pedal my feet out, get into those calves and knees, ankles. Shake my head a little, yes and no. Last few breaths there. Just keep, you know, down dog's a very challenging pose initially, but I tell you, it keeps getting easier. Each time you do it, you're guaranteed it's gonna keep getting easier. It may not seem like it, but all of a sudden, one day you're gonna come into practice and you're like, whoa, I feel really different, you know, just keep it up. You're definitely making progress, just sometimes it's hard to measure, right? All right, guys, now you're more than welcome to do like a vinyasa chaturanga for warm-up, or my gentle version, we take it back down to the knees, and then boom, we bring the butt to the heels like child pose, and then inhale, hips forward, chest lifts. Okay? Exhale, butt toward heels. Inhale, hips towards wrists. Okay? Or, you know, if you wanted to go big, I'll let you decide. You go up to plank. You go down to your chest, you inhale up into cobra, you exhale, use your core to go back down to down dog. So, you know, neither is better. They're very similar. Just depends on, you know, the person and how they're feeling. I want to make sure I give you those options so you get to decide. Because I don't know exactly how you're feeling or what you need, right? So it's a big full body movement, kind of forward and back, up and down. And then you can even get a little bit more creative, kind of drawing circular movements where the hips kind of come forward, but they go a little left towards your left wrist, and then across to the front, to the right wrist and back. All this stuff we've done so far is just foundational classic stuff, all right? And then yogis, we're gonna go right into our active flexibility work tonight. Now, if it's too much for the active, when I say the word more passive, that's going to be the easier option. But I want to give you some different things and approaches that we normally do, okay? So you can notice I took my blocks out in front of me. That's a good idea, all right? Right foot is going to step outside our right hand. Now we do this in yin pose, in yin class. We did yin last week. Now watch my back foot, it crawls back. My back knee crawls back, right? And you either keep your hands on the floor on your blocks. Some of us might be able to come down to our forearms on the blocks here. You can see. And now today, for the active form, the tucking of the toes, the lifting of the back knee. So a little bit easier is up here, right? A little higher. As I get a little bit better, I'm going to bring the forearms down, but try to hug your right knee in today and press your big toe of your right foot down. We're not going to take too long here, just a few more breaths, all right? So if it's going to be active, a little bit shorter poses. Whereas the passive poses are a lot longer, right? So you can see that kind of contrast. Yeah, so that's called that active lizard. You can see you're still going to feel a lot of stretching, but you're going to have to work on engaging those muscles in the ranges we're developing. All right? Back knee down, shake that first right leg out. And guys, if you want to hold longer, be my guest, right? Please do not leave if you want to stay longer, okay? Let's go here, guys. Second leg outside. So this lizard, it's a fantastic, you're almost in like a plank here, you can see, but we have that left leg forward. So from the front, right, I'm like this. So here we go, guys. You got that left foot here. Crawl that back leg back. Tuck the back toes, okay? Come on, let's work a little strength into our flexibility practice. Hug your left knee into your left arm. Some of us on the forearms on the block, some of us even forearms on the floor, right? I didn't mention it, but the full variation here is where you walk your arms like forward, kind of like we did child pose. So you're really stretching long with the legs active and the hips, knee hovering. Got a few more breaths on our second side. If it's too much, remember the more passive is just back knee down. You know that one. So a little bit more work in our flexibility, a little bit more activation. Looks good, everyone. So usually we have the knee, because we're bent over forward, we have the knee wide because we have this big ligament here called the inguinal ligament, and it's this big thing, and you get this pinching if you're here. But if I bring it a little wide, you tend to avoid a lot of pinching here. Plus your rib cage can get in the way, right? Because you'll be like this. But if we go here, we're going to get a little bit this leg out of the way. Because sometimes, we do it like this as well, right? So just so you're distinguishing the difference, okay? So there we go. Nice job with your first big hip opener. That is glutes and hip flexors. Now, when you're done, you're going to shake that leg out, give it a little bit of a movement just to increase blood flow. So again, some newer postures in the flexibility class, but if you do a lot of the other yoga classes, we do the side angle stuff. So think same body form, but now adding on, okay? This time, right foot steps inside your blocks, okay? You're more than welcome to do it outside as well. It's kind of the same. My hands are on blocks. See how I'm framing my foot now. Here I'm gonna go back to my lunge. So we're gonna do 3 of these. We're on the second one. Now my left hand goes down. My right arm is gonna go out and up. Just a few breaths. Now easier, passive is back knee down. More active, tuck those back toes. Reach that arm out and up, but lift your left thigh. Just 2 to 3 more breaths. Remember guys, our body's designed to be strong. So I don't want you to get into the habit of just always wanting to stretch and release. I gotta make sure that we're building that body. And I know a lot of you are doing a lot of strong exercise. So you might want to just take passive. You're like, no, I do enough strength, Bob. I'm like, okay. So you do your thing. Okay, you make it easier. All right, take that top hand down. You know what to do. Throw that right leg back, shake it out a little bit. And it's just quite simple. We're going to switch out sides. I like to suggest a little neutralizing in between sides. Any kind of residual sensations or achiness, because this, stretching is not easy. So I'm in my lunge with my left foot next to my left block, and then boom, I push my right hand down, my left arm goes out and up. That's a type of what's called revolve side angle, low lunge twist. Usually I keep that posture for my power yoga classes. Stronger variations include even like hooking your elbow outside the thigh. If you know those variations, the deeper hook of the revolve side angle. So I have you guys here, but the further version is here with the elbow outside. So don't be shy to take it further
I want you to enjoy your practice, guys. So whatever you need to do. Oh, and somebody asked me, they just emailed me about an hour ago and said, I just ate a huge meal. Is it okay if I come to class? I said, I don't know. You know, it's we're wringing out the digestive tract right now, and we're not good to eat right before yoga, guys. You know, it's 2 hours, 3 hours if you can, or even longer. Get that. You want all that blood flow for your muscles and joints. It'll be all in the diet. Body will ache more. All right. Get out of there nice and slow. Nice job with your second lunge work this evening. A nice little neutralizer is a cat-cow, or, because that was a big twist, like we did earlier, this thing we do in gentle yoga all the time. It's such a fantastic movement because we want to start to build our body's ability to go into extension compound. Not only is it hip extension, but it's knee, it's spine, and if you can, you work the posterior tilt. All right, so that's a good neutralizer. So we got one more of these lunges. It's the side angle. Some people think this is the most difficult one of the three. So I'll start with my blocks up higher. Eventually, you can just keep your hands on the floor, right? Blocks in front of me. Right foot steps forward. Back toes tucked, back knee this. I don't want you to get all cramped up in here. Nice long stride, okay? Third and final round. Now here's where my back heel seals. Now look at the back heel. My left foot, see how my toes turn for you guys? Now my right hand is on the block. My left arm is going to go out and up. I push my knee into my arm. I could even reach my top arm forward. Active stretching tonight, guys, okay? Look at that one line between hand and back heel. I'm spiraling my chest up to the left. Only a couple breaths here, yogis. I'm working you a little bit strong tonight, okay? Nice, Laura. Make sure you're getting that right side body some length, okay? Nice, Stephen. Tough pose, yogis. Now go slow, all right? Left hand down, back knee down, shake your front leg out. Again, hold longer. People who are experienced and seasoned in these poses, hold longer if you can, okay? Shake it out, guys. So just let me give you one quick cue here. I saw a couple of you, you're kind of crunched in your side body. Just holding this lunge is not easy. And this kind of crunching and compression happens. Watch the side body. The bottom side body tries to lengthen. See that? So if you don't have a block, you know, try to find something around the house. You know, a plant. There's all types of stuff you can use maybe around the house. I was going to say a plant stand. I have like, 20 of them. All these different heights. That'll help you. Just to get that more lift. Okay, now second side is where our left foot is forward. So we're in that lunge, but now we take that back heel down. Okay, I push through my left hand, my right arm goes out now. So now you get a different view of the back side. Top arm can reach forward. I'm spiraling my chest up open to the right, and my top palm kind of turns down. All right, so last few breaths. Yeah, it's okay, guys. You got to skip a pose or two. If you do like half of this yoga we're doing tonight, it's more than enough. You don't have to work out an hour hard every day. I'm all about like consistency. I'd rather see you guys doing, a half hour, 5 days a week than an hour, 3 days a week. That more kind of memory of the body, the repetitive consistency, the routine is going to be really key, okay? Now, when you're done with your side angle, some of you are exiting, beautiful. Just exit slow and take a moment to neutralize. Some of you came in a little after the warm-up. So we did cat-cows, we did some twisting, we did some stretching our chest and ankles. So anything you need to maybe start in child pose, that stuff is all really nice, okay? Active stretching, right? Let's slowly come to yogi squat. Now, if yogi squats too much, you just stack your blocks. Okay, lift your chest. That's how yoga squat starts, guys. But it's weight bearing. You need to engage more muscle. With practice, you're going to go a little bit lower. You see this? Up, one block. But notice my heels are down in yogi squat. My chest is tall. With a lot of practice, you're going to get those heels down. No blocks. Elbows push, knees open. You take 3 to 5 breaths here. I'm not going to hold you too long. If you want a quick taste, optional, okay? Easiest is sitting on blocks.
Stronger, right hand down, left arm up. Notice my right arm is in front of the shin. This is we got a visitor. It's okay. Go get her, go get her. It's fine. Here. I know, you wanna do yoga. Second side, guys. Just come get it, it's okay. She loves yoga, this doggy, all right? All right, guys, listen, we're gonna stand up. Bend the knees. Woo. So first tier is done, right? I want you to shake it out, okay? So take a moment, shake your legs out a little bit. Those are stiff poses. All three planes, we got the transverse, we got the coronal, and we had our more sagittal, deep lizard, all right? Shake it out. So let's go into our shoulders now. Non-weight bearing, arms wide. This is active. One of my all-time favorites. I always want you to remember this one. The right palm goes up to face the back. The left palm goes down to face the back. So it's this opposite rotations. And then I switch. And you use muscle to create release on the opposite side of that line. Switch. It's almost like this little dance move, right? You're kind of like, I don't know, maybe I don't know what kind of dance it is, but it feels like a dance move. So yeah, your arms, you know, they do the one where you turn both together, but I'm trying to get you to turn in oppositions. Okay, see that? Yeah, you may feel some weird sensations. Thumb, it is a type of like that neural floss, they call it, where you're almost doing a certain pull through the neural sheath where these, it's like the wrapper, let's call it, of your nerves. Nerves are interesting, right? They don't really like to be like stretched, but they always are when we're stretching, right? So let's shake it out, yogis. So that's our first arm. Let's do 3 arms to start, okay? Now it's that arm circle. Arms are gonna go wide. I just like palms neutral, however they kind of feel comfortable. And then I start a nice, slow, small circle. So the idea is active, right? So I've had you do this before. One night where we went really slow and we went back and rotated, then we went up and rotated. It's kind of like a combination of that, if you remember. You're just giving a nice, slow, big circle through that shoulder joint. If you remember earlier, we did that hip circle. Our 4 ball and socket joints, right? The shoulder and the hips, it's kind of like this socket, and then that bone, it's like a ball in the socket, and we're kind of rotating it in the joint. Yeah. And then you want to, you know, you can go a little bit looser here. And then we want to switch directions. This is just fundamentals for the shoulder maintenance. I remember studying that action, and it's like 33 muscles we're hitting. And it's going to help stabilize the shoulder better. It's going to break up a lot of what we call fascial webbing or fascial fuzz. If the shoulder stays down, it builds up all this density and it gets restricted. So we're just moving those shoulders, guys. Get into that joint, feel your body. Work, right? But make it feel good too. That's not like anything hurts, back off a little bit. My easier version is like this. See how my thumb is kind of on my shoulder? And I just kind of circle the bent arm. A lot softer, a lot less weight. Okay? When you're done there, no rush, guys. You're going to kind of wiggle your fingers, roll out your wrists. And then we're going to do our final shoulder action. This one's a little funky. We've done it before. Bent arm rotation. We want to think a lot of that rotator cuff, those small muscles that connect all here, and they stabilize your shoulder, right? So watch me here. Notice my elbows are about as high as my shoulders. I'm going to reach my hands back further than my elbows. You see I'm not really arching though. I want to bring my hands back, okay? And then look at this. I bring my hands down behind my lower back and I push my elbows forward. We've done this one where we pull it, right? But more moving for now. Inhale. Exhale. Elbows come forward. You see that? Inhale. Exhale. It's actually a big movement, guys. Last few, right? So again, it's the activation that's causing what is known as reciprocal inhibition. As we activate this lateral rotation, we're causing medial rotators to lengthen and stretch. Okay, so that's that idea behind active stretching. We don't always have to like just passively let go of the muscle. We can encourage those certain muscles to lengthen by activating its kind of opposite muscle group. All right, now shake it out, yogis. So now we're going to go what's called hip hinge. Active stretching. Regular is gentle, yogis. You know this one. A lot of gentle things in this class. The feet go about hip width distance. I want you to think of this like a big cat-cow. Okay? As I inhale, my weight goes into my toes. So I'm not reaching for my toes yet, right? I'm not going here. I want to inhale, weight into the toes, bend the knees. Hinge about a third, maybe some of us half. But my weight's in my toes. I'm going to feel some tension. And then I'm going to come back up, kind of squeeze my butt. Okay? And then I'm going to inhale, hip hinge, exhale, squeeze the butt. And you're going to take maybe one round, 6 to 12 reps. Try to close your eyes and feel it. Yoga means union. So unite the consciousness with the sensations, the messages, the conditions of the body. In yoga, they say your consciousness is actually not your thoughts, right? So it's, you also unite your consciousness with your thoughts, you unite your consciousness with your breath, you unite your consciousness with your emotions. And these are all different like layers of yoga. I do focus a little bit more physical. I have a very deep spiritual practice, a lot of prayer, a lot of mantra, a lot of deeper study, but I don't bring that into class as much. I'd like to. I have trouble teaching spirituality though. So let's get out of there, guys. Shake it out. Okay, this next big movement. After this, we're going to go into our asymmetrical standing straight legs. And we're going to do about 3 standing leg big stretches. And then we're going to be on the ground again for stuff that you're a little bit more familiar with. So watch this movement. I do want to bend my knees. And I want to pretend like I'm holding a yoga block, let's say. So I'm just going to bend the knees, and now watch. I'm going to inhale, kind of pivot my feet up to the right, bend the knees. Notice my chest doesn't come down, up to the left. I bend my knees, let's call it symmetry. I pivot over to the right. You could just go up like a lunge, but I am asking you to twist a little bit. Kind of a tough one, watch. Sometimes Zoom is tough to see, right? Because if I was in person, I would line up right in front of you and show you from your angle. So sometimes, if you want to see from the side, guys, here's our neutral. See this? I pivot to the right. You could go here, like if your back is a little tight. Okay, then I would go over to my back leg. And then I'd come back and watch. If you want more, I go across. Big active stretch, okay? Last few. And that's really preparing us for that, the last tier here, which is pyramid, triangle, and revolved triangle this evening. Basically, our biggest asymmetrical stretches. Some of you are doing some interesting versions, but as long as you're moving your body, a lot of times, our life is so kind of linear and structured. Even if you do like jogging, look at this little motion, right? Or, you do cycling. We want to move that body in a much more complex way. We want to teach our body ability to move and keep it. Okay, nice job there, guys. Now, take a moment to set up. We're going to reach for the toes if you'd like, right? So, quick stretch moment for you. Lift the chest, bend the knees, reaching for the toes. Just, I like to suggest, bending the knees, just because the tension has to go somewhere. And if you bend your knees, it's more likely to be in your legs as opposed to your lower back. Straight leg stretching is good, but that's actually next, because I'm going to say, straight leg, but it's going to be like one leg. So when in doubt, just bend the knees.
All right, you don't need to stretch straight leg always. That's for a good day or after you're really warmed up.
Okay, so listen guys, we're gonna slowly stand up. Now, we do go right at forward bend again. See how the blocks are set up again like we did for lizard? And I'm gonna step my left foot back. So we haven't, I think we've done this in one class. I think this class started, when did this class start? It was like in maybe September. I think we did this active style once, all right? I could be wrong there, but I want a nice long stride. I actually don't want to be too close here. You almost want to feel like your legs are too far apart. Now my right hip goes back. Now just before we go, easier version is down on the knee. Remember we do this one more often in this class? Same thing, okay? But this is going to require more strength. So what I'm going to do to start is take my hands on my hips. Notice how my body wants to turn to the left because my left foot is back. I want to see if I can twist my chest, my hips to face forward. See how my hips line up from the side? I'm not like this, okay? Now watch what I'm doing. Strong legs, right? Same thing. Remember this? Inhale halfway forward. Exhale up. Active stretching, okay? Inhale, halfway. Now most of you just can't go halfway. You're going to go a quarter. That's enough, guys. It takes a lot of practice to develop these ranges. It takes years, really. I mean, there are ways to speed up the process, but it's not easy, right? You got to do this stuff regularly. You got to do a lot of things that aren't going to tighten your body up. You got to do things like eat a lot less. You got to cool your body down. Too much excessive heat is going to cause that kind of fibromyalgia and the fibrosis. So we don't want that. Now listen, last part, you have the option of taking your hands on your blocks. If you're tight, I want you to bend your knee, but remember, we already did that, lizard. I want you to straighten your leg more if you can. Remember, my right hip goes back. All right, so if you're gonna try it, you're gonna forward fold over the leg here. We're done flexing your right foot, engaging your thighs, right hip back, spine long. Last few breaths only. You know, another nice thing you could always do here, guys, is something like this. I love chair yoga. I want to teach a special workshop for chair yoga because you could be like this. See that? And I come down here and keep some weight in my hands, work on engaging my legs. So good. All right, you should say that more to use like a chair. Okay, now let's stand up, please. Shake your legs out a little bit. We're going to do three rounds. This is our first. Left foot forward, right foot back. After you shake it out. Left hip back, hands on hips. And here we go. Strong legs. Yogis, it starts like this. I should start out more subtle, right? I was like, go halfway. Go a little bit. Come back up with strong legs. Maybe you go another inch or three. Come back up, strong legs and core. Yogis, I do suggest less range, okay? That's not like forced it on our body. Bending over practice is not easy on the body. So you got to make it easier by doing a little less. Last few up and downs. And then what we do, guys, is you take it down. So after you did the up downs, you'd reach for your blocks, bend your knee. Work on straightening your knee, lengthening your spine. Remember, it's the left hip back now, okay? Some of us will forward fold more, flex the foot more. Last few breaths, guys. And just a quick announcement. A lot of you know, Wednesday I have a new class in person. I can't really I got to take my employment things back. And so they offered me a class. So I'm teaching one class on Wednesdays now. I used to have the hatha and the gentle. Now I do a kind of mixed style. It's going to rotate in class, 5:30 to 6:30. Last week we did the yoga sculpt. It's kind of basic yoga poses where we hold like this. Just do some nice light weights. Could be a pound, really good for you. Got a lot of people really liking that. I think we're going to do another week. So it's really good, guys, to add a little weight training
stimulate those bones a little bit more, okay? Let's slowly come up, yogis. Take a moment if you'd like and shake it out. Now this next posture is the exact same thing, but we add a twist. It's going to be a very short pose. Let me demo for you. So I'm going to start here again, but my left foot's going to go back again. I got to set it up. My back toes are angled forward. You see that? They're not open to the side, okay? They're not completely forward. Little bit open, but facing forward. Now watch me, yogis. If you're tight here, be careful. Don't let your block fall on you, but notice I stacked 2 blocks. You see that? Inside my right foot. So on the left side of my right foot. Now watch what I do. I'm going to hinge again. Take my left hand on my block. Right hand, remember that hip back. And then from here, my chest twists to the right. See the long spine? I don't have to be bent over deep. With practice, you'll get a little bit deeper. But I want you to engage your legs and twist. So if you're going to do it, if you can't do this, look, watch me, yogis. We do this one sometimes, right? Where I'm here instead. And the same thing, I come forward, twist my chest to the right. Lengthen my spine. Here or here. Maybe right arm out and up. Last 2 to 3 breaths. I'm working this tonight. You're going to sleep good. So this is called revolved triangle. It's really a fantastic stretch for like all the way up this leg. You can feel sometimes like a neural kind of achiness along the IT band. That's normal, all right? It's a big stretch. Now, go slow, guys. Bring the right hand down, bend the knees, stand up. Let's step our left foot forward. Shake it out, please. Right foot goes back. Left hip back, okay? Go ahead, let's hinge forward. Now again, you know, they do teach it like this. It depends on how sturdy your blocks are. We don't want you being on 2 blocks. You see I have 2 blocks on the high height? We don't want this happening. That's a good way to have to go see your chiropractor, okay? So I put that block lower. But here is an opportunity for the chair. Watch. Oh, the chair's a little too high. Bend the elbow though. Oh, it's still too high? You're on the forearm. Okay? You're here. Notice my arms are like this. What can happen is sometimes people are here and they'll go like this, arches the back. I want those arms like a T, regardless of how far down you are. The arms are like a T. The arm is helping that twist. It's the same thing we did in our warm-up twist, what I call the revolving tabletop there. Last 2 breaths, guys. And I planned way too much for class. We went to the park with my pup and was thinking of all the active poses. We did about 40 things down. I think we're gonna not even do half of them tonight, but that's all right. Now get up there, yogis. Take a moment. I want you to do a little bit of this. Watch what we do in between after you neutralize. Calf raises. Calf muscles. Really good here, guys. We got this muscle called the soleus. In myology, we call it the second heart. Really important to keep that muscle open, okay? We don't want those ankles getting tight. Restricts lymph and blood. All right, guys. So our final straight leg posture, just like the side angle of the lunges. We did 3 rounds. This is our final triangle pose. Easy version looks like this, guys. We've done it many times. But I'm going to do the full one tonight. I want you to widen your legs about 3 feet to start. Some of us go a little further. Okay, you're approaching a little bit wide stance. Now, my right toes are going to turn to the right. My left toes also turn slightly to the right. You got to play with your footing. Find the least restricted area. Now to start, you can do a little bit of this. Remember we've done this? I don't know if we've done this in gentle yoga or not. Maybe once or twice. Okay, but really that's just the entrance. What's happening is a lateral tilt. So my right foot is totally turned out.
So I'm gonna get that big lateral tilt and then come back up. So it's not really like my spine is actually moving in action. It's just my pelvic tilt that's happening, okay? And then what I'm gonna do, guys, I would suggest bending the knee to start, is hinge, pelvic tilt, right hand grabs the block inside the foot. Here's another place to kind of stack. Triangle pose, okay? I do work on straightening my legs, turning my chest now up to the left, okay? With practice, you go down a little further, but I want to engage my legs, lengthen my core, twist my chest to the sky. That bottom hip goes forward, and the upper body kind of leans back over the front leg, all right? Last breath or two. Okay, now go slow. We'll stand up. I don't want you to hold that one too long. We're gonna switch sides. Left toes out. Right toes angle to the left. Okay? Now, again, you can see my hips are facing you guys. I'm not turned to the side or anything. I'm open like, I guess to the side, right? But it's a lateral movement, so big coronal. See this? If I let my spine follow my tilt, you can see how much the tilt causes movement. Oh yeah, just got a good little release in there to deepen the groin area, okay? After a couple of those type of hip hinges, you gotta play with your footing here. You're gonna hinge and find your block. Okay, remember your bottom left hip drives forward, your upper body is leaning back a little. Try to press the big toes of both feet down, engage those muscles above your knee, twist that chest up. As you can see, I even took my hand, my right arm wrapped around, I kind of pull it up. Then I can go here. Okay, couple more breaths. Yeah, so that bottom hip should come a little bit more forward. Upper body leans back a little bit more. Side bodies lengthen. All right, guys, big inhale. Now big exhale. Let's get out of there nice and slow. Shake it out for a moment. So I was thinking something just to kind of neutralize and close it up. That was all really straight leg, right? We're here, we're here, we're here. So I want to bring it back to a movement, but I want to take a nice kind of neutral area. So blocks go out in front of you. Now my feet go nice and wide, but look at the feet are parallel. I'm going to hinge, classic, kind of reaching for the floor. Few breaths here, maybe pulling on the floor. Those of us want to go huge stretch, you can straddle your feet. But just to be clear, we're going to take a breath or three here, and then we're going to try this evening. But for now, forward fold. Really in an active class, guys, we wouldn't be holding there, but I want to give you a little bit of a break there. All right? So here we go. You're going to take your hands on your blocks to the floor. You're going to half lift. So my spine is nice and long. Lifted, strong. Okay? Now watch what I'm going to do. Open my left foot, bend my left knee, shift left. Walk my hands right, bend my right knee. Looks like this. It's a big movement, guys. You know, sometimes if you have back pain, right, we're really doing a lot of forward bends. You're about to see the back bend more. We're going to hit camel. And a lot of times I've had people message me like, my back hurts a lot. I'm like, well, you actually have to avoid the forward bends so much. And you got to really start working into those back bends, stretching our front side body and strengthening our back side. Lower back, our hamstrings and our glutes, our posterior tilt as opposed to the anterior. So, be careful, guys, where don't always just drop in those poses that feel good only. Because your body's probably designed for that, right? So that's why the imbalance is manifesting. Now listen, guys, Next time you go to the front leg, just drop the back knee, step the back foot back. Take a moment if you need and just sit on your heels. So now we need a little symmetry. We were very bent over that whole time, right? This is also considered a shoulder stretch. So to start, we will do 2 rounds. I'm gonna rise up here, guys. This is a beginner pose, okay? It is safe for a new person, person with back pain. I want you to think height and length always, though, as opposed to just kind of dropping down. Let me show you the pose quick, demo, then you can just have a good go at it. So what we start with is our fingers face up on our butt. Now, I don't want to see this stuff. See the butt stick out? I try to want to get your hips forward and up. As my hips go forward, my chest goes up and back. Now, with practice, you can have your blocks kind of right outside your ankle, shin. Don't, be easy, okay? And I kind of find those blocks, and that's going to help me create more lift. I'm going to get a little bit more shoulder opener. So I'm lifting the heart, driving the hips forward. Remember the pubic bone up and forward. And I'm going to drop my head back up. So let's have a go. Camel pose, please. Try to find a way to do it. And relax a little bit, guys. They actually do this posture with 2 chairs too, right? When you're teaching the chair yoga in the YMCA, we used to have all the steel chairs. Everyone would get a few chairs, right? And you can do it kind of like this. It's something to put your hands on, but it's so much higher because we don't want this like heavy compression happening. So I'm here, all right? I'm going to be lifting up, 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 hips forward, up, rolling the shoulders back, okay? Take a little breather. Sit on your ankles, shake it out. Hopefully what you're feeling is an intense kind of lengthening stretch through the front of your hips, through the abdomen, up into the chest, even the shoulders. So we got our second round, yogis. Go ahead. Camel. This allows me to stay here so much longer, and that's how you're going to get more flexible. You're able to create length a lot better. You're not stressing out your joints as much, okay? Let me know if you guys want to do a chair yoga special class. That might be a good thing for a Wednesday because, we do tough poses. We do like lunges like this. You can like really work on your form. We do stuff like this with here. We kind of work here. It's not as easy as you think. We do a lot of things that you wouldn't get to do necessarily in all yoga classes. I think that's a pretty good idea, actually. All right, so finish up your final camel. And then take your time. We're going to meet in seated position, yogis. We're getting towards the end of class here, guys, so got to kind of keep going. Now, I'm going to teach the active form tonight. So we're going to meet here. This is called sukasana. I don't really suggest sitting on a block. I suggest sitting on a pillow or 2. A block is very firm and, formed and structural. The blanket, the pillow is just going to kind of hold you better. Just notice my shins are crossed, not my ankles. My feet are flexed, all right? Rooting my sit bones down, I'm going to sit up. Now, I want to try to keep, it's that same thing where I hinge forward, and then I come back up. It's that same thing, okay? I'm here. Try not to round the spine too much, okay? If you are going to round the spine as you go down, I do want you to really exaggerate, lift the chest on the upside. But really, it's just this. If it's easy, you could always do like hands behind your head. It's going to be more weight, right? And we do stuff like this eventually too, with the arms forward. Basically, the more extended the body is, the more weight. We're just going to do one round. Slowly, switch side. I see some of you taking the stretch. You know that's cool with me. Just try to, make sure you give a little try to the moving variation, okay? Left ankle at the front, but cross the shins. So walk that shins are crossed. You see how you see the sole of the foot? It's not like hidden under here. My shins are like forward, parallel to the front edge of my mat more, okay? All right. Checking out my list here, don't mind me. Just seeing what we need to add for a more well-rounded class. That is a really good exercise, yogis, to remember. If we always just do this, you want to be careful because stretching can make the joints less stable. All right? That's why I only teach flexibility really once a week. All right? More of the gentle yoga and the hatha yoga. So we're well-rounded. All right? So let's go, guys. Let's sit up here. And I want to do the final active twist. Now, this is like kind of core work. It seems quite simple. Now, a lot of times I've had you do stuff like this. So we're going to meet on the back. Wait, I've had you do this. I don't know if we do that in the gentle. I can't really remember. I don't think so. But what we're going to do tonight, yogis, watch me here. I'm going to place my feet down. Okay? I'm going to cross my right thigh all the way over my left. So look at this. There's no space between my thighs now. All right? I'm going to brace myself, support myself by bringing my arms wide and down. Now, nice and easy, I'm just going to let my knees knock right. I'm not going to go end range. I'm going to go almost to the edge, and then I'm going to pull back to center. Look, I'm going to go to the left now. I'm not going to go all the way. I'm going to hover, not going to drop out, disengage the muscles. I'm going to use my core to come back to center. So my thighs are crossed again. I have taught this in gentle yoga. Not too often though, because it's a really big range. My knees go left about 3/4. My knees go right about 3/4. All right, yogis, you got a few more times, side to side. And I do like your feedback. Let me know if you guys like the active practice, because again, like I said, my list here, just spending a half hour in the park, I came up with a lot of exercises, and we're getting through about half of them. So let me know what you think. Maybe we should do active once every month or every third week. We in every third week, just so we're, like I said, more well-rounded. Okay. Now listen, take a little squeeze with your knees into your chest. So happy baby is a really nice active stretch. There's like kicking and pulling. So a little neutralizer before the second side. Now to start, you grab your hamstrings. You could straighten and bend a little bit. Okay. I could straighten one leg out to the side a little bit. Eventually you can grab your ankles and do it. Out to the side, or the toe, right, or the foot, the outer edge. Heel is the full body here. Okay. Kicking, little pulling, right? But we do have our second side. And I hope you guys are noticing how this seems so simple and almost subtle, but it's really big and tough on the body, okay? Arms are down for some support. So my left thigh is now over my right, no space, see that? My knees are going to go left. I should have said maybe, a few inches to start. That's always a good suggestion. Just start with less, knees to the right. So we are having to be strong in the range. Knees to the left. Knees to the right. Go slow. Only maybe 6, 9 each side. Okay, and I didn't even have you hold tonight. Something different. We held revolve lunge. We held revolve triangle. We did a couple standing twists, table twists. So these all have been a little more movement based tonight, okay? And then what I want you to do, yogis, is neutralize. Knees and chest, massage lower back, maybe happy baby. So, I always lean a little bit more towards hips. Why don't we try one more shoulder thing? It's kind of fun to try. If there's another stretch you want to do, just do it, guys. You come to flexibility class, you're hoping for some stretches. If you want to do one instead of this, that's fine. What we're going to do is try something here. My arms are going to go down by my side. My thumb is face up. You see that? I'm going to hover my hands, my arms about an inch. Now, I'm just going to keep them hovering. Now, as I go wide, think of it like a jumping jack. My palms turn up. My hands hover an inch the whole time. And then I reach the arms back. Maybe I turn the palms back to each other. My arms hover though, right? And then I go wide. They're hovering. I know some of these don't have room. You could do it like this, look. As long as the arms kind of hover and you're working a big movement, that means it's active because there's weight, there's movement. It's like double active. So I'm going like this. See that? The reason I choose to stretch the hips more is because they bear your weight. They're gonna be overstable, too tight. Arms don't bear enough weight. We need to stabilize the arms more. I tend to strengthen the arms and stretch them less, the shoulders. When we're doing things like holding our arms up in tree pose, that is one of the best methods to reduce any muscular resistance in the imbalance. Now, last thing here, guys, same thing. Listen, roll onto your chest. Maybe one of you want to take a Sphinx or something, only touch quickly on that tonight. Can't go wrong there. Or you try that thing we just did, but downward facing. Watch me here. Arms down by side. My pinky is face up. I hover. I bring my arms wide. They hover an inch. I keep them hovering. Forehead down. I bring them back together. You could just go like this. Easier. Look. We've done this before. Been a while. Arms hover. They go wide. Remain hovering. Arms go forward. Palms face again to each other. Arms come wide. Palms face down. Arms face the body. So it's that same thing, but now that weight is on the back as opposed to the front. Last try, guys. All right, yogis. Let's roll onto our back. All right, so it is, let's see what time we got here. Oh boy, 6:29. Last posture. If you want to do shavasana instead, I'm just going to give a meditative pose. One option for me could be block under your butt here. That's a nice one. Okay. If you want to throw your legs up the wall or here, we don't need to do strap stretching because we did the triangles of the pyramid, the hip hinges. We don't really need to do any more rotated stretches or, so something like this might be good. Another nice option for the neck. We didn't do enough neck or wrists really. You're here, you could just kind of throw your knees open, block under your head. So how about we say either a shavasana, a nice meditative stretch. My last option, so I showed you block under your butt, I showed you block under your head, and now we go with block underneath the chest as the third option. Oh yeah. So let's take take one last kind of meditative pose together. Slow down. Take a few nice deep breaths here. Tougher practice tonight. So you're going to take about another minute here, yogis. And in the end of a practice like this, it's good to kind of take a one last minute after that pose. And you just kind of scan through your body like I always suggest. You kind of loosen up and just kind of stretch on your back, reaching, stretching. Might feel good again, one last knees into the chest. So just again, this Wednesday, 5:30, we're gonna do a nice yoga sculpt. So all you need is, if you have a 16-ounce bottle of water, that's like 1 pound, right? If you have a jug of water, that's 8 pounds. And if you have a liter of water, it's like almost 2 pounds. Or you buy a little couple, cheap little dumbbells. So we're gonna do holding some nice steady yoga poses with some nice light weight training where we just build a little bit of extra muscle and bone stimulation. So we'll do that this week again at 5:30. And don't forget on Friday nights now, we do at 5 o'clock have the restorative yoga. It's a really nice class to end the week, really healing. All right. So that's where we're going to work on really sending that body into healing mode. It's a really nice meditation class as well. All right. So when you're done, let's make our way to seated. Remember, in yoga, we always try to honor each other. We bow. You just step into humility and gratitude for a moment, kind of that, the yogis call it a character practice or a spiritual practice, these kind of virtuous character traits. And I really appreciate you guys showing up and keeping an open mind. And thank you, yogis. Namaste. Please give me your feedback. I want to hear from you guys in emails. I want to hear anything. I don't care. You don't like class, I want to hear it. Okay, it doesn't mean I'm going to change it, but I want to hear your feedback and suggestions and requests. All right. Sundays, I'm going to start doing more specialized class. I did the wrist one. I think this weekend we're going to do maybe shoulder. We'll work our way down. We'll get to feet and ankles, and then we'll do kind of like a little hip maintenance class and then neck. So I think I'm going to start doing that on Sundays. Let me know what you think. If you have any suggestions, I got a lot of requests for another foam roll self-massage class. Let me know, all right? Oh, there's my door.